All right, we're starting our final exam review. So today's lesson is to review chapters 1 and 6 from the workbook. The final exam will be two parts. The first part will be chapters 1, 2, 3, and 6. And the second part of the exam on a different day will be chapters 4, 5, 7, and 8. Okay, so today's stuff is all about the money questions that we did from chapters 1 and 6. So it says Marco makes $45,000 a year and earns a 2% bonus this year. How much will he make this year? So a couple ways of doing this. If it just asked you for what the bonus is, then you would take the bonus would be equal to 2% as a decimal times the 45,000. Multiply those together, so 0.02 times 45,000. So $900 bonus, okay, and then it would be added on. So this year, the total would be 45,000 plus 900. And then put your dollar sign in. Now, a little bit faster way is, because we weren't asked for specifically what the bonus is to the total would be basically 102% of what he earned, right? 100% keeps this and the 2% is added on. So that would be 1.02 as a decimal times 45,000. And that will give you 45,900. Okay, so two ways of doing that one. Part B, if Marco earns 46,000 next year, how much will his monthly gross pay be? Okay, so remember that means there's no deductions taken off, so we don't have to consider income tax and all that kind of thing. So monthly, 12 months in a year, so we want to divide this by 12. So monthly pay will equal 46,000 divided by 12. And we always round to the nearest cent. So 3,833.33. Two decimal places is the nearest cent. Okay, I'm actually going to switch to blue here. Okay, so next one, Sally earns $13.50 per hour plus time and a half for any hours more than 40 worked in a week. So you have to figure out how many hours more than 40. So she worked 45, so you want to subtract 40 from 45. So 5 hours of overtime. You can just abbreviate it to OT. So we want to calculate her regular pay. That's going to be 40 hours times $13.50. Okay, we'll do that. Overtime pay is going to be 5 hours at 13.5, so $13.50 times 1.5. Now you could multiply, you don't need the brackets there, so I could actually I could take this off and just put a multiplication symbol in, okay, because it really doesn't matter if you multiply the hours by 1.5 or the rate of pay. But that's how you get the overtime. So she was basically getting, the 1 represents getting the regular pay for those 5 hours, and the 0.5 means she gets half of the pay added on as well. Okay, and then we will add those together. So 40 times $13.50 is 540. Okay, and then 5 times 1350 times 1.5 is 101.25. Okay, so then total will be those added together. And so you have the previous answer, just add in 540 and 641.25 with the dollar sign. Okay, so that was her pay last week before deductions. Next one, Calvin works as a waiter and is paid $15.50 per hour. Last week he worked 40 hours, made 180 in tips in total for the week, and 160.92 deductions from his paycheck. What was his net pay? So we do have to subtract the deductions. So he worked a regular week, so regular pay is 40 hours times $15.50. So 40 times $15.50 is 620. Oops. Okay. Then tips doesn't say per day. It just made it last week, right? So he made 180 in tips. So that's added on, and then we need to subtract the deductions. So the net pay will be 620 plus 180 minus $160.92. So we already have 620. I'm going to add 180 and then subtract 160.92. So 639.08. Okay, that's his net pay. Next one, Stephanie is paid $15 per hour with double time if she works more than 8 hours in a day. On Monday, she clocked in at 7:30 a.m. and worked until 6. Determine her gross pay for Monday. So you need to think about how many hours she worked. So you might want to, maybe you want to go up to the nearest whole hour, so 8 a.m. So 8 a.m. to think about it, well, a couple ways to think about it. You can go from 8 a.m. to noon, that's 4 hours, and then noon to 6 is 6 hours, and then we have 7:30 to 8 is half an hour. So really that's 10.5 hours. You could also convert it to the 24-hour clock. So start at 7:30 and go till 1800 hours. And then really you could go, okay, 7:30 is 7.5 hours after midnight. So 18 minus 7.5 is 10.5. So however you find it easier to figure out how many hours worked. Now, we have to figure out how many of those were overtime. So if we subtract 8 from that, we get 2.5 hours of overtime. Okay, so regular pay, I kind of made a mess of the space here. Regular is $15 per hour times 8 hours in a day, and then overtime is 2.5 hours times 15 dollars per hour, and then times double time. Okay, so 15 times 8, you know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to reverse these to keep them in the same order. It doesn't matter, but I'm going to go, okay, 8 hours times $15. 2.5 hours times 15, just so it's in the same order. But remember, with multiplying, it doesn't matter what order you multiply in. Okay, so 8 times 15 is 120. Then 2.5 times 15 times 2 is 75. And so the total, add those together. And dollar sign, so $195 for the day. Okay, so that's pretty good. Next one, Timmy earns $300 per week plus 4% commission on any sales he makes. If Timmy sold $12,500 worth of goods last week, what was his gross pay for the week? So remember, this is what he sold, not what he gets paid. That would be a super good salary. So we want to calculate, so regular pay, no calculations needed. It's $300 for the week. Then commission is 4%, 0.04, times his sales for the week. Okay, and you just want to make sure it's for the same time period. So that was for the week, that's for the week. So then you get out your calculator, 0.04 times 12,500 is $500. So total is 300 plus 500, which is $800. Okay. All right. Next one, Alan has a gross income of $4,210 per month. If income tax is $675, EI and CPP are $77.85 and $222.75 respectively. Determine net income. So really you're subtracting. What you could do if you wanted, deductions, is add up the deductions and then do one subtraction. Kind of. It's up to you. You can subtract all of them. Really doesn't matter. But we're going to do this way. We add these together. Okay, so I'm just going to make sure I entered it correctly. 975.6. So $975.60. And so the net pay will be 4,210 minus that value. Okay, so 4,210 minus, now, if you have a graphing calculator, you can copy that answer out, or you can just enter it, 3234.4. 3234.4. Okay, so $3,234.40 is his net pay. Next one, Mary and her best friend Jess want to buy 3 DVDs that are regularly priced at $30 each. Today, 3 stores, A, B, and C, have the DVDs on sale. At which store will the friends spend the least amount of money if they buy 3? Okay, so they're regularly priced at $30 each. So basically you want to calculate for each store. So store A, you buy 1, so that's going to be, so the cost here, buy 1, that will be $30, and get 2 for half price. So that would be plus 2 times 15, okay, because for sure she's buying 3. So that would be 30 plus 30 is $60. Okay, so this would be 60. Then for store B, all DVDs are on sale for 35% off. So remember, that means that you're paying 65%, right? So 100% minus 35% is 65. So the fast way of calculating the cost is taking 65% of the cost of 3 DVDs, which would be 3 times 30. So 3 times 30 is 90, so 65% of $90 is $58.50. So B so far is the cheapest. Okay, and then C is buy 2, so 2 times 30, and then get 1 for free. So that would be $60. Okay, so least amount of money would be B. B is the best buy. Okay, next one. Foot Locker buys t-shirts from their wholesaler for $30 each. If they then sell them to customers for $42 each, determine the profit as a percent of the wholesale cost, rounded to the nearest whole percent. So basically, this is what the Foot Locker store has to pay to get that t-shirt into their store. Then they're going to sell it to us for $42. Actually, in real life, they probably would sell it to us for about $60, double this. But in this case, they're adding on. We want to take the difference, and we'll call this profit, although really some of this money has to go to pay for employees and all that kind of stuff. But we'll find the difference between this. Initially, it's profit until they have to pay for everything else. So you want to subtract that. So this is the dollar profit, okay? And then we want it as a percent of the wholesale cost. So what percent profit is that? So I'm going to call this percent profit. And that's going to be 12 divided by the wholesale cost and times by 100, the percent symbol. Okay, so 12 divided by 30 times 100 is 40%. Okay, 40% profit. As I said, that has to be used to pay for the running of the store, but initially it would be 40%. Okay, next one. Stephen is planning a trip to Mexico. He has asked for some pesos as a Christmas gift from his parents. His parents gave him 2,500 pesos. If 1 peso is equal this amount in Canadian, how much did his parents spend in Canadian dollars to buy those pesos? So you want to look at the conversion. So we know this is the number of pesos, and we want to figure out what it is. So basically 2,500 pesos equals how much in Canadian dollars. Okay, well, we want to look for the conversion for 1 peso, if we're given pesos, which we gave to you. If it was reversed around, Canadian, 1 Canadian, 2 pesos, you'd have to divide. But if it's 1 peso equals this, so if we have 2,500, we just multiply this by 2,500. Okay, so I need to kind of see, this is a big number here. So 0.083443 times 2,500 is 208.6075. And we'll round to the nearest cent, so that would be 61 cents. Okay. So 2,500 sounds like a lot, but that's in pesos, not in Canadian dollars. And that's it.